Okay, now this is for real. Hey everyone, welcome to the Green Door, where we discuss Japan of all things. We have Langy at Compounding Moments on Instagram. You can find him there. He currently lives in Japan for 4+ years. Say hello.
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 Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly fine. So, Langy's been in Japan for 4+ years. He was an English teacher, and he was originally from the U.S. And Langy, I would love for you to kind of kick off your introduction as well, and we'll start asking some questions.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me today. Hello, everybody. My name is Langy. I currently live and work in Japan, and I am originally from America, Los Angeles. Grew up in Los Angeles my whole life. Went to college in San Francisco, and I studied abroad in Japan, and graduated from my college in America, and then I came back to work in Japan in 2019. And I've been here ever since. So
Nice. I guess where did it all begin as far as why you chose Japan to study abroad? And was that your trigger point when you figured that you would want to eventually move to Japan?
yeah, it began back in 2013, actually, when I started studying Japanese. I fell in love with the language, and I decided what better way to study the language than to actually go to the country. So I decided to study abroad in Japan. I was there from 2016 to 2017. And while I was there, I just absolutely fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the culture. Fell in love with the culture, fell in love with the beauty of it, the nature, the friends I'd made, just everything about the country. And yeah, that was my trigger point. I decided to move here because I felt like I needed to be here.
Right, right. Like, I guess what were the highlights of that time frame when you were there? Was there a lot of like culture shock? Um, was there a lot of like eye stares, or did you feel like out of your comfort zone when you were there? Tell me more about that.
Well, it's crazy because like a lot of people ask me, "Hey, have you had any culture shock or anything like that?" And I reminisce about the time when I first came to Japan a lot, and like I realized that I didn't really have much culture shock at all. Um, the most culture shock I had was it's weird. Two things. One was, when you're like walking down the street and you see this yellow line in the middle of the street and has like bumps on it.
Right.
I Yeah, I didn't know what that was for, and it was everywhere. It was everywhere, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what's going on? Am I supposed to walk on this? Am I supposed to like not walk? I was like hella confused, and so I asked my friend, and they were like, yeah, it's for blind people, just so that they know where they're walking. And I'm like, oh damn, that's clever. What the hell?
Clever and so thoughtful. The U.S. would never do that. The closest thing they'll do is just give you a stick and
Like,
you'll have to have a dog or a caregiver, someone to kind of guide you and be your vision. Yeah. Let's see.
wow, that was one of the culture shocks that I experienced, I guess.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. I remember my first time when I went to Japan. It was in 2016. I was still in college. Um, my girlfriend at the time, and uh, I guess the biggest culture shock was that the driving experience. I didn't drive there, but just being in a car in Japan, just being on the opposite side of the lane, um, it felt a lot different. It did feel like I was somewhere else. It felt where it didn't feel normal at all.
I feel that because when I started driving in Japan, I used to drive in Japan, and um, the main thing that freaked me out the most was when I was turning Was it left? I think when you turn right,
Okay.
turning right, you're turning onto the opposite side of the street.
Mhm.
What us Americans we normally used to,
Right.
turning like, hugging the side. You would normally hug the side and turn
It's a tight
left.
corner.
Totally, well, right. But in Japan, it's the opposite. You go onto the other side of the street, and I was freaking the hell out whenever I would turn right. I just couldn't get used to it. So I feel that like driving in Japan is wow.
It's whack, but it's cool. It has some dope cars though. I mean, can't complain about that. Um, yeah, I'll say another thing. What was part of culture shock too was the vending machines. You know, the vending machines versus the ones we have in the U.S. You just get your soda pop and you just see your clear glass of like what you're getting, but it's like it's the marketing is not getting to it. The marketing in Japan with the vending machines is just so superior. It looks very presentable. All the flashing lights. You get your hot and cold beverages depending on the season, and you can get corn soup in the vending machine too. Like,
You got corn soup, you got onion soup, you got all the soups.
all the soups. I can just think of like the tomato soup too. The tomato corn soup. Those are kind of like the go-tos. And if I ever did pick something as a daily drink, it would be the Real Gold energy drink.
Ooh, that stuff is good.
It's good, but it's like such a small can. But I wish I could just like, I just wish there was a bigger can in there that I can just chug
That gets me through like the work day.
down. It does. Get through the commutes too.
Yeah. My favorite drink for vending machines. Ooh, I never really thought about that. I think I would have to choose. Um, I drink a lot of like sports drinks, and I also drink um sparkling water. But there's this drink called Green Dakara, and it's like I guess it's a sports drink, but it also has like a lot of different vitamins and stuff uh in it. And I'm all for that. I'm like, okay, I need this healthy drink. So whenever I see it, I'm just like, yeah, give it to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. uh, I just remember just like landing at the airport and just seeing a vending machine. I was like, this is a Japanese vending machine. This is not what we have in America. That's so I had since I like did the foreign exchange, I just had like the 1,000 yen, so that way I can just like get whatever. But I just remember the first experience. It was I can't forget it.
And like the cool thing about these vending machines is that you can actually pay with a card, or at least it's becoming like normal to pay with not credit card, but your train card and stuff like that. You could pay with your train card or something like that.
Yes, like a Pasmo card,
There you go. There it is.
and
Well, yeah.
I'm sure you have your card somewhere too. But yeah, definitely Pasmo card. You can certainly use this for pretty much everything. You can use it for the kombini. You can use it for shopping at your favorite store. Like, it's very versatile. It's like a prepaid card slash transportation card. You This is something you definitely need when you are going to Japan, living there, or just traveling on a visa. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have mine all in my Google Wallet.
Oh,
Oops, my Google Wallet, and I got like my Suica, and then I got my credit card.
oh yeah.
It's becoming like more common to pay with your phones nowadays. I remember when I studied abroad here, it's crazy. I studied abroad here, and everyone had their cards, right? You would plug your card and just tap it. But nowadays, all I see is people with their Google Watch or their Apple Watches and their phones. Gee.
So much more convenience, and that's just another thing on top of Japan. Convenience in Japan is like everything. You can walk a couple minutes, just go to like your local kombini. Depending where you live, it could be like a 5-10 minute walk to go to your nearest train station. but I just know that for an average commuter, it is like about an hour. Does that sound about right?
In Tokyo, yeah, in the big cities, especially Tokyo, actually, yeah, it's about an hour. Um, every every people tend to live outside of the city, on the outskirts of the city, and they all come towards the center of the city. People like work towards the center of the city, and so well, that's one of the reasons why the trains are hella packed. Oh my gosh, kind
Yeah.
of Sharpie style. Um, but yeah, since people live outside Tokyo, it's normal to commute for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Uh,
Definitely. I know we are little sidetracked and talking about like your experiences and our highlights of culture shock and such. Kind of just like jumping back to the beginning, right? How did you prepare yourself to, move from the US to moving to Japan? It is a big step in life, like a stepping stone, and um I would love to know like how you did it and overcame it and, overly just prepared for it.
well, I'm a bit of a unique person, I guess, and so I didn't really plan that much. Obviously, I planned how what I needed to pack, what I was going to bring, my essentials. So, for example, I didn't really bring many um like hygiene care essentials for like hygiene because I was just gonna buy them over there. A lot of the things I just bought over here, and so mainly I just bought like sentimental items and um just some clothes, obviously, but most of the stuff I just bought here. As far as packing, that's just how much planning I did for that. Mentally wise, I was just so excited. I was so freaking excited. I was like, oh my god, let's get this on. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's just start moving.
Yeah, I was so freaking ready. So like, I mean, obviously I had trouble um separating from my family. That was a bit difficult, but um I was able to visit them a couple times back and forth. So mentally wise, I was just kind of in the mood of like, okay, like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to experience new things and stuff. Um, and obviously, oh, and another huge thing is I made friends with Japanese people while I was here, and they actually like talked to me. They taught me a lot about Japan. Taught me a lot about Japan. They showed me pictures. They taught me a lot before I even came. So I had like knowledge of Japan. Obviously, expectations blew out of the water, but
Right.
yeah, I think that's another thing that really helped me prepare mentally with coming to Japan, talking with my friends, and just doing research on my own. But yeah, I was kind of an open book. I was ready for new experiences, so it wasn't at all terrifying. I was so excited. I was just ready to go.
Did you reach out to those people, or were they able to find you? Like, what type of resources did you use?
For my friends, you mean?
Yeah.
So ooh, when I was in college, I joined a Japanese club, and a lot of Japanese people also, who were studying abroad from Japan, they joined that club as well. And I was able to meet my Japanese friends through that club, fortunately. And yeah, I just kind of, it grew from there. I connected with a lot of different people who were interested in Japan, who had been to Japan before. So yeah, rather than using the internet, I just kind of spoke to people and listened to their experiences like this. And so yeah, people who are listening to this could also be I don't know, a way you can prepare to Japan.
Yes.
But yeah, that's how I basically did. I didn't really like look up many things because I felt it would like boil Japan for me in a way. Like, oh damn, I've seen that already, kind of thing. So I kind of just got all my information from my friends, and was just ready like that. I was
No, that's very helpful to have friends and to get that firsthand experience already, kind of just to help like set yourself expectations because you don't know what yourself getting involved into until like you're actually there. So people who have the experience previously or already there, it's like
Right.
it's already it's already there to help you for your next step into getting there. So
Do you do you want to mention, sorry, do you want to mention that is for that's when I studied abroad here. When I moved here for work, I think it's a whole nother set of uh preparation that you need to do. And that's only like just now hitting me because I didn't do it.
Definitely. Yeah, like when I first visited Japan in 2016, um, it felt like something that I wanted to learn more. Like my curiosity just began spiraling from that first time because it was just so different than what I've normally experienced, like versus in Korea too. So Korea and Japan are identical in many ways, but as far as like the culture, the food, the people, like the emotions um, that people give off, it's so different. Um, like everyone in Korea is like more open to like conversations versus Japan, where everyone's just focused just on their life, on their personal life. There's no time to really say sorry if someone bumps into you, or you get lucky if someone says sorry, but there's just too many people to like to to be bothered. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
yeah, so I visited Japan 5 times. The time was in April, and each time I do go, it feels like there's a strong connection that one day I do want to call it a second home, and we do have friends and family there already, so they're there to support us. But it's our turn to kind of take that next step. So now we're just kind of planning for this big step and try to get the expectations already out of the way. But it's about like professional career growth and what we want to make out of it versus being delusional.
I would, yeah, like I would. That's a good point. Like to not be delusional. Well, I would make it a point to try and be just like an open book and be more open about the expectations and experiences you're going to face because um obviously life is life and it can like boom boom bam and just like knock you down a level. And so traveling there is completely different from living here. So just expect a lot of things to not go your way, but also expect some beautiful, enticing, very like fun, interesting moments. It's just happen. That's enough.
Compounding moments.
There you go.
Compounding moments. You're just compounding.
Blossom, yeah.
And blossom right when it's the sakura season, right? Oh no, that's amazing. Yeah. It's best to be proactive. You really have to be proactive and not just have someone to hold your hand while you're going through that whole transition. And I feel like someone could get lost and make their experience so much more worse because they can't experience it the way that they plan to because they didn't do the extra steps to get the help that they really needed. So you're right. Joining clubs, going on social events. You can find that on Facebook. You can even find people on like Instagram easily now if it matches up with your algorithm, and that's kind of how we met. And I'm very, very, very fortunate for. And I think even there's depending on the occupation that there are like other extended networking events too to help each other and get the resources that you need to transition to your living conditions and such, lifestyle and all that.
Yeah. There's a lot of resources out there. You have the internet, I mean, you have the whole world. So
Exactly. Let's see. What were you excited for when you moved to Japan?
Oh, what was I excited for? Um, I had never, obviously, I had never been to Japan before that, before my study abroad. And I think I was just really excited to meet all my friends that I had met in America and Japan in their home, because they met me in America, and that's where I grew up. They met me at my home, and so the next was my turn to meet them at their home. And I was really in particular excited to meet one of my friends. She introduced me to the school that I studied abroad at. It was in Kyushu Orta Prefecture. I was so excited to just be able to speak Japanese with her in her like homeland. Like she literally grew up there, and she went to that college, and so I was excited to just like experience life through their eyes.
Right.
And another thing is the seasons. Okay. Oh my God, I'm from LA, and we just have hot, 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 and then dead leaves on the ground, and then cold, and that's it. We don't have like any seasons or anything like that. So I saw all these like beautiful pictures and stuff, like of sakura, um, beautiful like snowy mountains, and just the autumn leaves here. I was just like, I am going to take as many pictures as I can and experience it all. So I was really excited.
Yeah, I saw your photography page, and there's a lot of different seasons in your photos too. I believe there was like one with snow too.
Yeah, I took a couple with.
What was that, like in Sapporo, or what? Where were you?
I think I was probably in Sapporo. Yeah, I was in Sapporo in Hokkaido. I took a couple there. And then I also took a couple in Yamagata Prefecture in Lawrence. I hiked this mountain and went up to the top, some beautiful view of the full city, and I just want to take a picture of it. So took couple pictures of that. Yeah, I loved taking pictures of Four Seasons.
Nice. Yeah, no, the Four Seasons in Japan, it's very dreamlike, um and it's easy to travel to. Like, like Tokyo doesn't always get snow from my understanding. But if you do want to see snow, like you can just easily hop on a train and go to like the nearest mountain, like ski resort, and it's yeah. So like getting around is easy, and you just got to know the transportation systems there.
It's funny. It's when I was in Tokyo, I also studied abroad in Tokyo. It was crazy because it was the first time it snowed in something like 20 to 30 years, I think. And like, I just happened to be there on that day, like when it snowed. And it was beautiful. Oh my God.
Wow.
I had a picture. But it was in the middle of autumn. And so I just remember these like yellow leaves, like just covered the ground. And then on top of that, it was just white snow everywhere. I was
Yeah, yeah, when there's snow on the ground, it changes the whole landscape. It makes things so much more beautiful. Um yeah, I haven't seen snow in Japan. I've only gone in the springtime and like 3 parts of the summers. So hot, sweaty, humid. Oh yeah, I love that so much, and always had to blast the AC wherever I go. And I guess one big tip during the summer times that you do go is that you can get like methanol wipes, and you can just wipe them on, and it just feels so cool and refreshing. Um, and Japan gets very, very technical on those kind of types of technologies too, because like there's like air conditioned jackets to like help air ventilate your whole body. There's there's like ice packs too that you can like
Yeah.
wrap around your neck. And then the most
Saw that.
I saw a lot of that on social, and obviously the fans too. The portable fans is always the go-to.
Little cute little fans, yeah.
Right? Um, just to kind of like talk about like your day to day, right? Um, like what was your first occupation when you first came to Japan? And kind of like, can you go over what your day to day was like? I know it's been a couple of years already, but try your best on remembering your early career in Japan.
Yeah. So to get my foot in the door, 2019,
Right.
first job was an ALT job, stands for Assistant Language Teacher. And I was, I got hired by a dispatch company. It was based in Tokyo. And what they do is they hire a bunch of people, and they dispatch them to different areas of Japan. And the place I got sent to was Fukushima Prefecture in the north. And I was sent to a little town called Aizu Wakamatsu. And it's west of the main city in Fukushima. And it is a little cute little countryside town surrounded by mountains. Beautiful, beautiful place. And my first job was to be a assistant language teacher there. So I got sent to a elementary school and a middle school, and my main job was to literally be the teacher's assistant. So I would wake up at 7:30 a.m., get ready, have my breakfast at 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven has everything you need.
Everything.
Get breakfast at 7-Eleven, and I would walk into work, and I would help the teacher prepare her documents for a class, and then we would have our meeting, and she would go through the schedule of what we're going to do today, like the whole day. And then I would do my best to follow her and just assist with the class. I was really lucky because usually when you get hired for an ALT job, you're actually the teacher. Like you actually teach the class, like you teach English. Yeah. But for me, I was really lucky, and I had like a teacher there, and I was actually the assistant. I was hired under what I was supposed to do. Yeah.
Good. So overall, would you consider that as like a good experience that you had?
Yeah, definitely I did. Beautiful, great experience. So before coming to Japan, I hated children. I hated children. Little devils, like
Little devils. Yeah.
what are you?
Little munchkins.
Yeah, little munchkins. And that was me before I came to Japan. But then I started teaching English to these kids, and I fell in love with them.
Yeah.
Such precious little things. They're so cute, and they're just so pure, and they're just so happy. And through that experience, I really had a good time teaching. I think without that, I think it'd be a little bit difficult. But overall, it was a good experience. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So when you were at ALT, do you think it met your expectations versus like what you interviewed for?
Yeah. Definitely. It did. I was actually worried that I was going to be the teacher, and I actually did so much preparation on how to be a teacher and how to do this, how to do that. But with my circumstances, I was just very fortunate to be the assistant language teacher. So I really didn't do much for my job. I kind of showed up. I helped the kids fix their pronunciation. Sometimes I would write things on the board here and there, but other than that, I wouldn't be leading the class. So it was better than my expectations.
That's amazing. Yeah. I hear a lot of people with a bunch of mixed experiences, and I think it's always good to have like high expectations for the job, even though like you got interviewed for, and that's like kind of like what's on paper. But in most cases, even for America too, like the job description doesn't mean that's your job, right? So,
Right.
sounds like you got into like a very fortunate position, and sound like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I did. Like mainly for my coworkers and people who I've met who also did the ALT route, they say, it really is just mixed experiences. There's no one pinpoint experience out there. I really had a lot of mixed experiences, but I've heard who had a great time and they actually taught the class and they had a great time. Others I've heard, unfortunately, they didn't have that great of a time and teaching the class was difficult for them. It really is like a mixed pot of different experiences. But, yeah, like if you're going to be a teacher or ALT in Japan, I wish you the best and just have an open mind and yeah, just look forward to the good part and try and deal with the bad part. So
Yes, every job will always have its bad parts too. So don't make it seem like the job you'll get is the dream job. Things will get better as time goes on, and you just have to be mentally prepared for it.
you said it right. There it is.
I guess what are your hobbies currently? Like what do you do outside in Japan? I know you like gaming, but do you travel? Do you experience like activities? What do you do?
I do in Japan. So I used to travel a lot. Obviously COVID hit and then that kind of went downhill. Like I want to get back into that. I used to do these little solo, it was so much fun. I used to do these little solo trips and I would just go to a place close by within distance of a nice night bus. And so I took a night bus to say, I don't know, Nagoya or Gunma.
Nice.
Somewhere close. And then I would just spend a night or two there all alone. And I would just like walk around the area and take some pictures. So I had 2 hobbies out of the way, knocked 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yep.
Right? Would take pictures and then I would just travel, walk around and stuff like that. And then when I get back into the house. Now I usually just go out with friends and I like to drink. I've been slowing down on that recently, but I really like to drink. And so I go out to bars. And
I got the sake in the back.
well, yeah, I do that on the weekends. And that's about it. I have a bunch of other hobbies that I do inside as well, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It sounds like you have a lot of fun in Japan, and in Japan, it's like you can never stop exploring at all. Especially in the city too. Like you can be in one block and not even discover everything within like a day's span because there's just so much going on.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy because when I got here, this is my second time living in Tokyo, but when I got here in April, I would walk around and just 4 different areas, and it would take me hours, like hours on end, to get through one little district. And in Tokyo, they have like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, no, like 10 plus different cities all in one city. It's hard to explain. But yeah, they have like different little cities, and within the cities, they have different districts. Within those districts, they have like cute little like towns, and like areas to explore. So it's huge. It's huge here. So
Right.
louder.
Well, there's so many restaurants, coffee shops, dessert locations. It's like it's hard to say what's your favorite spot, right? Unless you're in like your neighborhood. What are your opinions?
Why? I do have a favorite spot. I think. So in my opinion, I really
Tell us more.
that's yeah. Yeah. I like, what's that place? Not Akihabara. Asakusa.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know. It's the place with the red temple.
Mm.
And I love that place because it's fun to just walk. There's so much stuff to do. It's fun to just walk around with your friends. And they have a little restaurant. They have a whole like street of different restaurants, and people are literally just like chilling outside, day drinking. And then at night, they're also like just drinking with they got their like sake lined up outside on the table.
Wow.
They're just drinking, and just the atmosphere there is all good.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that sounds very familiar of like this spot I've checked out. It's close to it's in Yokohama, and it's really close to like Minato Mirai. And there's like this strip that's kind of like tucked away, and there's a bunch of like izakayas there. Pretty much all the salarymen just go there for quick, cheap food, but there's actually long lines there. I went there in the springtime, but this is probably like the best spot that I've had a lemon sour, and
Wow.
I just had it like back to back because it was just so good. And like you can they put the full lemon inside too, and then they like squish it down. But definitely mesmerizing spot. Hopefully I can find it again.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, maybe we'll meet there.
Yeah, I can't.
um let's talk about the challenges in Japan. Like, what is there any current challenges are you facing in Japan that is kind of affecting your daily lifestyle?
Yeah. So since this is for people to view, and I am a very open person, and I like to have conversations that people don't have a lot, but I will say one thing that I'm facing that I didn't really prepare for is loneliness. Loneliness. Yeah. Just like I am, I have friends here, and it's like it's great. I love it and stuff. But there's like, I don't know, just a sense of feeling hard to fit into a community here. And it's really just up to you to fix that, which is what I'm currently trying to do. So now I've been like trying to go out more, trying to find my people and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's important to have not only anywhere you live, actually, to have a community and to have people that you actually like to talk to. Like I've come to realize that I love my friends, but some of them I have just like superficial conversations with a lot of the time, and like there's only so much that I can deal with that for me personally. Like sometimes I really like to have deep conversations.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's good to have those kind of friends, right? And so that's what I've been working on personally. So yeah, if you come here and you feel lonely, it really is up to you, which is tough. But I would say, just try and get out there and find your people and just experience life with them. And
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I really appreciate you sharing that too, because it is like the part where we're coming out vulnerable and having this kind of conversation. So I really appreciate it. And loneliness is definitely a big thing for people who are living abroad in general. And it's finding the community, getting to know one another. Even though like it is like another barrier to break down and find the right community, because there's just I mean, the community is out there somewhere. It's just there's millions of people where Tokyo stands. So
yeah, so that's one of the things I'm dealing with. What other like just be more specific? Like I don't know, like what kind of hardships were you thinking in general, life in general? Or...
Yeah, hardships like I guess meaning as far as the challenges, as far as like like daily challenges. So, for example, if you're moving somewhere out of Tokyo or just like to a different neighborhood, um, is there any challenges or resources that you do have, or is this something that you have to kind of just further on do your research for to move from one location to another?
I've moved one, two, three, like 4 times here in Japan,
Hmm.
and um, 2 of those times I didn't really know anybody in the area, and so like I mean, with moving, it's kind of obviously it's hella difficult because one, money stuff, and then two, trying to get your stuff, you pack up your life, and then going to a whole another place,
Yeah.
and three, starting a new job. There's those hardships, but I think I dealt with it by trying, just like what I said earlier, trying to find a community. So I
Hmm.
joined a Facebook group. My first move was from Izuwakamatsu City to Fukushima City, same prefecture. Actually like an hour and a half away by car, so they were close. Um, and I joined a Facebook ALT specific group. I met a couple of people there, and they introduced me to their friends, and it kind of just like spiraled down from there. I made connections through that, and yeah, I mean, as far as getting used to work, it was very challenging at the first couple of months because I didn't know what the hell's going on. New job, everyone was Japanese too, so I think I maneuvered that pretty well with uh, having a hobby that I liked, and doing that hobby like by myself, and then also like hanging out with other friends as well. Like that's what helped me get through those tough times, I think. So yeah, that's mm, that's how I dealt with it, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Um, I think we're gonna cut this in 3 minutes to hit 45-minute mark. Um, I guess like I know when you're starting a new position, it is hard already, but then also when you are in a different country, when everyone else speaks a different language, and I'm sure um, even when you're learning, and you're finally being there fully immersed, right? Um, did that pick up really quick? Like as far as learning the language, would you recommend talking to Japanese people the language just to kind of help with that learning experience? Like, did that help you to learn faster um, versus like a non-native Japanese speaker?
Definitely, it did. My first job, not so much because I was obviously speaking English, the majority of the time. But my second job, I worked under the government of Fukushima Prefecture, and there I was the only foreigner in my entire like section, my whole office,
Okay.
and everybody else was Japanese. And so, like, I was literally like not only get help, I was just like forced to speak Japanese and listen to Japanese.
Uh,
I noticed was like my speaking skills kind of improved here and there, but my listening skills, they shot they just went up. And I'm like, come on, lady, like what the hell?
let's go, Langy. Yep.
And I was surprised at that because I was like, oh, damn, I'm not doing anything but
Right.
improving. Like it's really big. So I would recommend getting a lot of input and trying your best to do as much output as you can. Uh,
Mm,
there's a whole nother thing we could talk about with language, but
right.
to be short and simple, um, I would try and get as much input and output as possible.
Absolutely, Langy. That's amazing. Yeah, and just to kind of extend that to what each of the times I did go to Japan, I did take Japanese as one of my prereqs in college too, and it definitely helped because after my first time going to Japan, I wanted to immediately learn the language to get a better understanding, and after like 3 months, we also went back to Japan. I actually created like note cards for myself too, like full-on sentences. That way, if I go to a convenience by myself, or if I like need help on like train transfer, most of the time I didn't need help with train transfer just because I had Google Maps. But I was just like super like committed to the language, and when you're there, it really does help in reciprocating the language to each other. So I really do agree on that, and hopefully when the time does come, I'll take it to the next step and just work on full on conversations than just working on textbooks, because it takes so much more longer. I feel it's a lag.
Have any Japanese acquaintances or friends around you?
Around in the US or
Yeah.
in the US? I do have one in LA. I did visit it in October for my birthday. She actually moved from Tokyo and moved to LA without having any friends in the US. And she worked at, I believe, Mitsuwa.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was one of the...
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that might be the next episode. Who knows? We'll see. Have to get her hooked up on Discord. But yes, Langy, I'm sure we'll have plenty more conversations. This is a great introduction to understanding Japan culture, work lifestyle, hardships, daily life. I really appreciate it. Hopefully the viewers will be able to learn from this and kind of help extend their expectations when they do plan on moving there or planning on living there, whatever, for any reason. This was a great talk.
Yeah. I would love to also, like, I don't know, get your input and your like viewpoint on Japan as well next time, if possible. So
Yes, maybe it'll be... Yeah. Do you want to throw a question now, or you want to save it for later?
well, can I ask like one question?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So, you said you want to move to Japan, but like, do you have any like goals, for your like career wise? Are you going to, start with an ALT job and then work from there, or do something else? Like,
Yeah, so what am I going for is a marketing position that is a international based company. The workaround on that, it sounds very I guess very modern. I'm going to say modern or old school, but just going to job fairs. But before thinking about going to job fairs, I'm currently I am a social media manager, working on wearing multiple different hats in marketing. Working on like ad spend and budgeting and search engine optimization and such. But I want to make sure I have the experiences before I can uplift the next step. So that's why I do plan to live there in the long term. So as in like in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see where it does take me. And I do want to kind of look for an occupation in marketing for an international company.
let's go. That sounds exciting. Wow, look at you with all those skills. My God.
Yeah, it's originally I wanted to become an ALT, and I had a couple job offers earlier in the year too. They were both sketchy firms. One of them was called Borderlink, and another one was Eon. Eon was more of like a private lesson, kind of teach teach kids or whatever age groups one-on-one. But the border link one, it did sound like more of an assistant language teacher kind of role, but the whole interview process was not what I've expected. Um, not not judging either of the companies. They're both great companies. But I just wish the experience was a little bit more straightforward and more open. So it was interesting getting interviewed by a Japanese person, and it really helped understand as far as like how a Japanese interview would be like.
Did they test you on your Japanese, or was it all in English?
So with one of the firms, it was like first English and then second interview was in Japanese. But it was like a mix where he would speak to me in Japanese and I would have to like complete or respond to him back in Japanese. And then yeah, it was tough because like I was very lost and I wasn't expected to be interviewed in Japanese at all. So it kind of that was like another first-hand experience where like Japanese language is literally going to be your best friend, because that is kind of like what you're gonna do to get that job, and that goes with any kind of job in Japan, even for the marketing job that I'm like dreaming of, that I would want to do. Not saying that all companies require Japanese, but it does show that extra extended hand of interest of why you do want to live and work in Japan.
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah. If you like have a good command of the language, that transfers to through the interview. I think like this person really studied the language really hard. Like, damn, he may really want to work in Japan. Like, he's like worked really hard, and so, yeah. Like this, like studying the language itself and having a good command of the language, it gives you a one-up.
I agree. Yeah. So that's the path. That's the experiences I've had so far. Getting interviewed in Japan or interviewed by Japanese people and Japanese companies.
Good luck.
Thanks, Langy. We're gonna get this. We'll be neighbors. Oh, what's up, roommate? Drinking beer, sake. I know the holidays just passed too. Hopefully you had a great holiday.
I did, yeah. I went shopping, and I'm on break now, so I'm chilling.
You're chilling now. Good. Also, Langy, thank you for being part of The Green Door, where we talk about Japan experiences and much more.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I had a great time talking with you. Yeah.
And
to hear again.
Yep. I guess my catchphrase, matane. Matane.